glass box around her and she'll break the glass. If you try to cage her in, she'll light the match. Oh, she's like an animal, it's in her blood. She will turn every chain into dust, into dust, into dust.
Hi, welcome back to AutoReview. My name is Patrick and sorry for the location because it's raining non-stop outside and I have no location other than this to shoot. So we're going to do the introduction of the car here and then we're going to drive as usual on the road because then we can't get wet. So what do we have here? We have actually a model that isn't available like this anymore. However, there is a successor of this. So this one is the 2016 Mercedes-Benz C450 4Matic. The one that you can still buy or buy nowadays is the C450 AMG. And the only difference between this one and basically the 2016 and 2017 model is engine is the same. The gearbox is different. This one is a 7G Tronic. The new one is a 9G Tronic, so it has 9 gears. And you have a different badge, obviously C43 instead of C450. And the badge here says B-Turbo 4Matic. So that's the difference. What do we have here? This is a 3-liter V6 B-Turbo producing 367 horsepower at 5,500 RPM. Maximum torque of 520 Newton meters between 2,000 and 4,200 RPM. 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds. Top speed of 250 limited. It is a really great looking car and I had tons of fun driving it. But at the same time, because it's the T model stands for station wagon, it's very practical. So you can fit between 490 to 1,000, more than 1,500 liters in the boot. And we have plenty of room in the front, in the second row. Tons of assist system, which I'm going to explain to you while driving. So without further ado, let's hop in, show you the first row, second row, the boot space, and then we hit the road. Have fun. Okay, so as usual from left to right in the C-Class. Inside, nothing changed from the C450 to the C450 AMG, so this is pretty much the same. And what do we have here? So you'll see already the illumination of the light here, the ambient light basically. This one you can adjust in 3 different settings, which is kind of this nitrous blue or polar blue, orange and white. And it goes in the doors here on the side and again in the door there, plus the back seats. And we have here electric seats on both passenger and driver's side, which are heated and cooled in 3 settings. Memory function, 3 different drivers can be adjusted, as well as for the passenger. Then we have the electric folding mirrors, which are heated, obviously. This one as well gets dark when there's light in the tunnel, as well as the one inside. And then we have door panels where you can fit small items, boot release on the left side. Then here we have the buttons for lane departure assistant, parking on-off, 360 camera and head-up display. This car is equipped with a head-up display, plus the auto lights and the electronic parking brake, which engages and disengages obviously if you drive. Then we have the steering wheel, which is nice leather-wrapped 3-spoke design with buttons for the menu, which is the screen in between, plus volume rockers and the phone controls. On the left side we have the speedo, on the right side we have the RPM, and in the middle we can adjust pretty much everything that you would like to do. Now speed, distance driven, average speed, echo display and so on. And then you can go to navigation, radio, media, telephone, assistant graphic, which is assist systems, service, and we have as well an AMG, which shows you boost, oil pressure, G-force meter, and so on and so on. So let's go back here. Then we have the shift pedals on the right to go up, on the left to go down. As I mentioned, 7-speed. Here you actually select the gears, actually drive, neutral or reverse. Then we have the nice screen in the middle, which is not a touch screen. Everything you use over the rocker here, and this kind of touch field where you can write as well, for example, the letters for the navigation. Then with the vents on top, here we have the shortcuts buttons for the ventilation. So we have a 2-zone AC, plus we have navigation, radio, media, telephone, car settings, as well as the hazard lights. That was something I was actually looking yesterday for, because on the highway there was a traffic jam and I was trying to find them and I couldn't find them, locate them. So usually they should be in the middle. That's something that I would change. Then you have this one in all carbon fiber, which looks amazing and it feels super, super nice as well. Then when we open this up, we have a 12-volt power socket here and some compartment basically to put your mobile phone or small items, whatever, the keys. With a push start button, obviously you can take this off and put the key inside, or just leave the key in your pocket. Once you get close to the car, you touch the handle, the car will unlock. Then here we have the rocker for the dynamic settings, so you can go between Eco, Comfort, Sport and Sport Plus, as well as the suspension and the gearbox, plus the ESP on and off. The volume rocker, which is really nice because it goes pretty fast. It's screen on and off, and start and stop on and off. Plus as well this one here too, as I mentioned. You can either hold it here to move it, or this is a touch sensitive field as well, you see. And you can rock through here, or you can do this over here. It goes faster with the rocker. In the middle, in the armrest, you have two USB ports plus an SD card holder, and compartment where you can put bigger items as well, which is nice. Glove box is on the smaller side, not too much space over there. And here we have the one for the glasses, SOS and service, as well as information. Then illuminated mirrors for driver and passenger. This one has the panoramic roof as well. And that's pretty much it for the front. Let's check the second row. Okay, so C450 T model in the back. Seat in front is adjusted to me. I'm 184 tall. You see I have still enough of headroom. And we have the panorama roof, which gives me a little bit more room as well. Knee space, more than enough. We have pockets in the doors on both sides. And obviously here we have the ventilation for the heated and ventilated seats. So this is where the hot air will come out, which might be not so nice for the passengers in the back. Then the aluminum we have as well here. Forgot to mention we have the Burmaster sound system, which is really nice sound in the car, which is an optional feature. Then you see as well the light, or the ambient light, continues here. Electric windows, hook which is fixed installed, then the reading light, or basically the entrance light, something to hold on to, and headrest goes sufficiently high, which is good. The seats are in a comfortable position. They're a bit backwards leaned, so not too stiff. Then we have quite a big transmission tunnel. You can see it's actually this high, so passengers who sit in the middle have to be really small children or have to put their feet left and right of it. Then the air condition vents or the ventilation vents, which you can only close and open, and then basically direct your the flow. A little compartment on the bottom, which won't fit much. And then in the middle we have an armrest, which you can open, where you have a hidden compartment, and two cup holders, which you can unfold in case you need them. So that's it. Let's hop into the boot. I want to say, let's check the boot. All right, so the C450 T model from the back. So design-wise, what I have to say, looks obviously a little bit sportier with the kind of fake vents in the bumper, which are actually just plastic. There's nothing coming out of there. However, it looks a little bit nicer. On top, we have the dark railing, panoramic roof. I'm not quite sure about why they left the roof white. I think it would have looked better if you keep this black. And this kind of double lip spoiler looks a little bit weird as well. So I think if they would have made the car basically black all the way on top, including this kind of spoiler, it would look better. What do we have from the back? Then we have the chrome on the tailgate, C450, which would be now C450 AMG 4Matic. As you can see, this one doesn't even say AMG on it. Then lights, sleek, red and white. Then we have, which looks like a quad exhaust, actually is a dual exhaust. If you look through it, this here is actually not the exhaust, it's just behind it, and it's only one smaller exhaust pipe. However, for the C450 AMG, the new one, you can order a valve exhaust stock from AMG, which costs around 1,700 francs. So one really nice thing I like is the automatic tailgate, which you kick below and it will open. Worked very well when I went shopping and I bought something heavy. I just walk to the car and it opens, even if the car is locked, so you don't have to unlock it. Then the cover, which opens up when you press on it. Boot space, I mentioned, around 490 to over 1,500 liters if you fold down the seats. Again, you have here the remote folding function. If you press this, the seats will fold down in 2/3 and 1/3. And we have a second boot space below, which is pretty big, I have to say. A small rucksack will fit, plus some smaller items. Then we have two hooks on the left and right, a net with something that I really like. Mercedes always gives you a little bottle of oil when you buy the car, and metallic hooks, not plastic ones, which is nice. So let's close this, and either we press it here, or again, we kick it and it will close down. So that's it for the outside. So now let's finally hit the road. Let's go. Okay, so let's drive the C450 AMG T model. First things first, we have pretty much everything on board. As I mentioned in the intro, this car is nearly fully equipped. The only thing that's missing are massage seats. And I'm not quite sure if you can actually get them for the C-Class. So please don't take me on that. But everything else is in here. So we have lane departure system. Just watch it. Now, I can drive 70. And it keeps... yeah. It keeps within the lanes. It's actively, so it goes really through even steep corners on the highway, no problem whatsoever. Up to 120 works fine. However, at one point it will indicate put your hands back on the steering wheel. You'll have a symbol here, and it will make a dong or a ding or whatever you call it. And then if it's in the corner, it will get out of the corner. So just be careful. Then we have the Distronic Plus, which works superb. It accelerates, it slows down until stop. If, for example, at a traffic light, the stop is not too long, it will automatically accelerate again. If it's a little bit longer, like 15-20 seconds, you just have to pull the Distronic lever here, which is on the left side, and then it will accelerate again to the speed that you set, or according to the car that's driving in front of you, and keeping safe distance. You can adjust the distance here in 6 settings, and now we just put back on 60. So let's just see how long it will go until it will beep. So you see it actively steers. I don't have anything on the pedal. Now we have sign recognition, which we see here. We'll switch now. Here, here, there, and now we have the symbol for holding the steering wheel. That was a ding. So now it's actually not pulling you back into the lane. Once you touch it, it works. I tried it yesterday on the highway. I was driving to Zurich and back, and it's super comfortable to drive with assist systems like this, because every few seconds you just do like this once, and then it continues driving. Very good. It keeps distance on. You shouldn't do it this way, but you know. Now, engine-wise, it's very nice. It sounds really good. It sounds good and like sporty in Eco mode, but once you put it in Sport Plus, it's changing completely. So let me just do a U-turn there, and then we're gonna go on the highway, and I'm gonna accelerate from here from Stilson. So we're just gonna see how it's accelerating. Obviously, we have a 4-wheel drive 4Matic, which is awesome for weather conditions like this. And now let me switch into Sport Plus. So you see obviously on the dashboard in there and here. And now everything's on sport. Suspension, throttle response, gear shifts, and so on. And you hear the crackle of the exhaust. So there's no one behind us. And you have the double D clutch. Okay, so let's go. Sport. And you hear the crackling, the burping, whatever you want to call it. And obviously when you go down in gears, listen, it double D clutches. And it crackles, and now again double D clutch. It's just so much fun. And that was the only problem I had with this car. And problem is not meant like the way it sounds, because of the fuel consumption. I managed to drive this car as low as 8.1 liters on the highway between 80 to 100, right? That was on approximately 120 kilometers, first 120 kilometers. Obviously the first 20 kilometers I enjoyed this car quite a lot. And then I got reasonable, and I looked for the MPG, or the fuel consumption. So I took it down 10 notches, let's say it this way. So I got it down to 8.1. But then if you go, for example, I went over the Brünning, which is like kind of past going to Luzern, mountain kind of roads, having a lot of fun, and you just, not forced, but you're like tempted so much to let this car go and enjoy, you know, that you actually ruin your fuel consumption with it. Obviously, once you're gonna own this car and drive it, you're gonna become more reasonable, and I guess, you know, not gonna care much anymore. So now you're gonna see the illumination of the dashboard as well. But then obviously my fuel consumption went up again, and now I have 286 kilometers on the clock. I drove the car for 5 hours, 58 minutes, so 6 hours, and now it's 10.4. So you can drive it reasonable, but at the same time you can ruin your fuel consumption with driving not reasonable and having fun, hearing the exhaust, shifting late, revving the gears to, you know, to the rev limiter, and so on and so on. So just keep that in mind. Now, GPS works fine, very good. As I mentioned, there's not a touchscreen, everything works over here. One thing that was a little bit annoying is that it always talks in between. So I couldn't really, I mean, when I listened to the radio, I could mute the navigation voice. However, it still muted the radio in between when we were supposed to say something like turn right and left, even though I had it on mute, which is a little bit annoying. 2 and 3 times it happened that navigation didn't really tell me properly how to go, so I missed the exit, and I had to basically reroute. Now we're gonna do acceleration to 60 to 100. Now we're in Sport Plus. Obviously you can shift manually as well. We're waiting for the sign. And maybe you can just check below. I don't know if I'm gonna put the counter in so you can see how fast it goes. So 3, 2, 1, go. 100. Crackle. And then we can shift up and shift up and shift up and shift up. So as I mentioned, this is a 7G Tronic. The C43 is a 9G Tronic, so you have 2 more gears. Well, 520 Nm is obviously more than sufficient torque. It's at 2000 RPM until 4000 tires, so in the mid-range basically, which is good. A lot of journalists, when I read through different, how you call this, tests of the car, criticize that the car comes on 19-inch and 35 tires, so 255, 35, 19, and I mentioned that you ruin the ride quality with this low-profile tires, which in my opinion is, well, if you buy a car like this, C450 or C43 AMG, or C63 AMG for that matter, I mean the more sporty ones, then obviously you know what you're buying. You're not going to buy this car because you want the most comfortable ride. You buy this car because you want sport. You want drive enjoyment or driving enjoyment, and you get this with this car. Because 0 to 100 at 4.9, the limousine is 0.1 seconds faster, I believe, and 250 limited. Obviously, if you maybe unlimited, go to 80, whatever. But this is what the car is built for fun. And actually, with the T model, it becomes a family. It's not a hot hatch anymore. A family sports, not sports car, but sport car, because obviously it is long. It's a bit heavy. It's 1.8 ton, nearly 1,700 something kilograms, and it's like a Grand Tourer station wagon with the quality of Mercedes, with super, very good material, like haptic, you know, how it feels. If every leather, it's all soft touch. It's carbon fiber, brushed aluminum, so it is really nice. And it's great if you, for example, drive a lot, but still want the sporty. Whoops! Be careful with the Distronic. Obviously, I had 80 still put on. Now we have 50. So it's great for the daily commute if you drive a little bit more and you're driving on the highway. If you drive on a highway, for example, in Germany, the left lane will be the lane you're using, because most probably you're not going to idle at 100 or 120 like we have to do it here in Switzerland. You most probably going to drive something between 160 and 220 on average, right? If the highway allows it. And that's where I see this car and what it's made for, basically. Fast commute. Yeah? Would you take it to the racetrack? You could, but it's not made for, obviously not as a T model. But if you're, for example, coming from a sports car and your wife gets pregnant, or you're planning a family, you have already 2 children, whatever, and you basically need to get rid of your sports car, which is a 2-seater, unpractical car for a family, this would be something you would be looking for. Now, price for this one, as this is a 2016 model and has a bit more, around 10,000 kilometers on the clock now, is 75,000-ish. If you want to go for a C450 AMG, a new one, order it with the exact same equipment like this one has, you would end up around 95,000, which is quite a lot of money. So, would you go for a petrol or diesel? That's the question. I mean, if you really commute a lot, most probably you'll go for a diesel. But if you want to have the noise, if you want to have this feeling, if you want to have the pleasure of driving and not just a commute vehicle, then you would go for this one. Yeah? Because the C450 AMG starts around 100,000. The C450S is even more expensive than that. So, you know, you have to decide. Space-wise, it's more than sufficient. You saw in the back we have a lot of space. Driving performance is great. Fuel consumption, again, 8.1 to 10.4. Depends on how throttle happy you are. And I don't find it too hard. I prefer a bit more sportier suspensions. Obviously, when you put it in Sport Plus, it becomes even more stiff, right? And don't worry, you can go actually into individual and then you set up it the way you want. So you can have a soft suspension with a fast throttle response, or vice versa. So you can adjust it to whatever you like. But if you keep it like the settings they are, obviously Sport Plus is the hardest, the loudest, and is the one that makes the most fun. Alright, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. 30, yeah. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, like it, share it, comment below. If you have any questions, just ask them, put them in the comments. And thank you very much for Elite Auto Center in Wilderswil that provided this car to me. You saw the sticker obviously on the side of the car, and you find the link in the description as well as all the contact details. If you would like to buy this car, it's for sale. So just call them up. And you're saving on a car that's just 1 year old and 10,000 kilometers, approximately 20,000 francs, which is not bad. Okay, so that's it. Thanks a lot. Subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.